I think we had just even in Antwerp a very nice event with a lot of initiatives in the question of sustainable mobility. And what we have said before is sustainable mobility, the future is ours. And what we try to do in this very short meeting, because the way between Antwerp and Brussels is not long enough for us, but I think it could be good to exchange ideas and how can we reach the ambitious goals of the Green Deal and the sustainable and smart mobility strategy. And I'm very happy that I have a very honorable guest here on the table. I can't introduce all of you. You all are important, I know. But I want to say that we get some speeches with the invited panelists, and I'm very happy that George Gilkinit, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Mobility, will tell us just what the Belgium government will get and good impulses for such a sustainable approach. Then my dear colleague Pavel Wojciechowski, the coordinator of the Rhine-Alpine corridor, will also say something which are in progress from the European side. And I'm very happy that Mr. Gert Pauwels from the Belgian Rail Freight Forum will speak to us. And last but not least, Niels van Vliet, the CEO of Railport, will also take the floor. I will not speak too long because we need the time for the important messages. The message and the floor is yours.
I won't be long either because time is very short between Antwerp and Brussels. I see that we deal the same goals, less CO2 emission, and railway is a great part of the solution. And it was difficult for me to be there. I wanted to be there, but I had to fight against my government because we are in the budget discussion at the moment, and they told me yesterday, George, you have to be there. We have to continue our discussion. And I answered, no, I can't be there. I have to be in Antwerp and then in Brussels because it's so important. And this is also the reason why I'm asking you for more money, more investment in the railway, because for the last 20, 30 years, our government forgot to in the investment in the railway, in the track, and we have to now we have a momentum. It was said by different people in Antwerp. It's the momentum. European Commission with the Green Deal, with Next Generation, show the way for the national government, and we decided to have a great goal to double the volume of goods transported by rail for 2030. But it's easy to say. It's more difficult to do. We need money, but not only money. We need to speak to each other. And if I can give a message to the Commission, we have to recreate a level playing field with the flights, with the trucks. We have to help the rail to be more efficient economically, because it's already efficient environmentally. We are quite ready to do it, as was said in Antwerp. There are more techniques in all the world to make transport of goods more efficient, but we need this level playing field, and we are working on it with other colleagues in Europe. As I see my colleague from Austria, from Luxembourg, from Ireland, I hope from Holland and Germany. We are ready to work on it. I will leave it. I will leave you at 4 o'clock for the discussion about our budget. We are speaking together to find the best solution. and then let's do it.
Yes, thank you very much, Deputy Prime Minister. It's an honor that you will speak to us, and just also with this approach that the Belgian government, if your fight in the budget negotiation will be successful, will support just the idea to strengthen the railway in Belgium, and just also the goal until 2030. It's only 9 years, and to double just the freight rates. It's a huge challenge for all of us, and I can also promise, as European coordinator for the motorways of the sea, we tried all the best to bring just the containers from the ship, not to the trucks, and to organize the last mile, or to help to organize the last mile, that they will really come to the rail freight. And that is just what we want to do. And therefore, the coordinator of the Rhine-Alpine is beside me, Pavel Wojciechowski, dear colleague. I think he will say something about what on your corridor will work in the next years.
Thank you, Kurt. I'm so honored, together with Kurt and other people, to have you, Minister George Gilkinet. This is the right word. My last name is even more difficult. So don't worry. Okay. So I think that because this is the session that follows an excellent speech that you had, and also other two speeches from Infrabel and also from Mr. Gerd Pavels, which was very inspiring for us. I even asked Mr. Gerd Pavels to provide me with this video, so we can come to the Strasbourg when we'll do it together, the seminar together with all other colleagues to share this, the message about the points that you've mentioned: the easier, faster, seamless, flexible, and across border. So all of it is actually in the hands both of the European Commission, in the hands of national governments, local governments, and all the users. It's not. We have the goals. You have mentioned the goals. They are feasible. The question is how to do it. Okay, how to do it, how to complete, because we have a perspective until 2030. And we have more push because of the Green Deal and this smart and sustainable mobility package, a strategy. And we have all the goals to achieve. The question is how to do it. So, and this is very important. So to realize that CNC has been reviewed before 10T revision, has been seen as quite effective in a sense of coordinating, facilitating, and we as playing ambassadors' role on behalf of Commission, European Parliament, the Council. Then question is, what else is happening? The compliance in general has been good, except maybe IRMTMS. This is maybe between 20, depending how you count it, I got the last figure, it's maybe 27%, somebody said, maybe I was thinking maybe it was 25%. On Rhine-Alpine is much higher. We would like to be the first corridor with full implementation of IRMTMS. What was missing also was urban nodes. This issue of port and city, how to reconcile the interest, and of course the city versus the corridor, how to push the traffic through, which is not devastating because the local communities don't like the noise, the pollution, the vibration, whatever, this is all pollution. And what else was we missing was the user's perspective. I think we ought to think more along the line the users should be part of our, people who are coming up with some solutions. Because, for example, on technologies, if you want to have bring new technologies, new energy sources, we, I'm saying we as you and me, Kurt, we don't know about, what would bring the hydrogen versus LNG, how to, we cannot be going into divergent routes, and saying, we don't know, okay? We should bring the expertise from those who know. on the table, and within the framework of some platforms of European Commission, come up with something that we know that what are the roadmaps for those technologies to achieve the greening for the corridors, for example, or greening the transport in general. So altogether, we have seen that if you take the investment part, the operation part, and the pricing part, which is the thing that you've mentioned, the level playing field, from my perspective at least, and I think that we shared this conversation in the seminar just before we came to Antwerp, was that in a short time, the most important is operations. Because we are at the level that if with some innovation, with creating the platform that you've discussed, we can reach that. But we need more European solutions. Because any country by itself, it's struggling. Without European solutions, we cannot achieve that. That's number one. Second, on pricing, that would have to really come from the European Commission. So we have to be agreed how to do it the Swiss way, I would say. How to move from road to rail the Swiss way, how to price it right, to have those ideas to provide the level playing field. So you're not charged on the highway or road every kilometer. You have a lot of other advantages being a road. So we cannot shift from road to rail. Or in other words, if you don't have this pricing element and we don't provide the level playing field. And the last one, of course, investments. Investments would be the hard investments. They are long term. We have to keep the promise. We have to keep the promises what we have in the working plans of the European coordinators. And on the side of other investments, less soft investments, we have to provide those investments for digital platforms, for innovation, and this is the way to go for alternative fuels. So altogether, we will face in some time in the end of the year, we will face the situation in which the European Commission will prepare would call it package, okay? The Alternative Fuel Directive, the TEN-T regulation, the urban nodes, and ITS. So all of it come together with some type of thought that with that package, and that, of course, the Commission will work with member states on Fit for 55, that can speed up the process to reach the goals by 2030. So I am optimistic, and I hope everybody should be optimistic after this wonderful meetings that we had in the almost 100 cities in Europe with high-level participants like you, Minister. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pavel. I think that is the approach to use this momentum we are in. And therefore, we have a good chance in these days. I think we also see what happened with the climate crisis, how we can feel it in our own countries, in our own cities. And therefore, I think we have just like a draft for a more sustainable transport system for the future. And now I'm happy to give the floor to Gerd Pauwels. We have heard him today, but perhaps you can also say something to the approach of Pavel Wojciechowski and like a little bit also like an answer of that. You got the floor.
Thank you. Well, I'm also honored to be here, and I can only be very happy when you say we want to have a system like the Swiss system, because they have a very clear policy to do the modal shift. If we would have in our constitution in Belgium or in other European countries the fact that we limit the number of trucks that go through our country to a certain amount, and we do everything else to make sure that the rest is on rail, then we've got the right policy. So I'm fully for that, and that's creating a real level playing field. Next to that, I think the other message that we're, I think in the meantime, starting to understand, all of us, and also the European Commission, is that we really need to fund further into innovation. Because, I mean, we are sitting in a nice train, but it still looks a little bit like the Orient Express and other trains 100 years ago. So if we want to truly get rail back into the 21st century, we need to invest in innovation, and we've shown from Rail Freight Forward which kind of innovation we need. I think that's important that we choose also wisely, and we go there for more Europe. fully agree with that as well. We are now scattered with various infrastructure managers and different systems, different rules. We need to have more European rail. We can really be with rail the flagship of what Europe stands for. I think that is truly important, and that we get the entire community in Europe and also the various countries behind that. Now, before, I also would like to further support my minister to go for his goals, because we also share those goals in further investments. Good luck, please do so. We will continue to help you and to support you on that one. But it's urgently needed. If we don't have the investments, and I'm not speaking for me, I'm speaking for Infrabel, we really need those investments so that we can continue driving trains in a proper way. And now I'm speaking for the rail freight operators, also the level playing field. As long as we don't have it full time, we need to also have a support system to be able, especially to do the bundling of the goods, which is crucially important for the hinterland connections. But I would like to now, because you've heard me now twice, I would prefer to look at the video rather than you looking at me. So we're gonna try, if that works, to set up the video. This is a video made by the Rail Freight Forward Coalition. So that's the entire rail freight sector that is together coming out to the Commission, to the countries at these kind of events to show to you what we're looking for. So the video can say it better.
Yes, thank you very much. And I think it was a very impressive movie, we could see, with clear messages. And yes, we are supporters. We do it together, and I think we try to do it in a fast way. That is just important in the days. We know 2030, 9 years is not a long time. We all, just in the infrastructure, they know it especially as well. And therefore, it's necessary to go forward. And I'm very happy that Niels van Vliet, the CEO of the Railport, will speak to us at next.
First of all, I would like to express my thank you, my support for a project like this. As a representative of the Port of Antwerp, we really welcome initiatives like this. Is there a future without rail? That's a question. But is there a port without rail? We don't believe so. We definitely need rail to realize our ambitions, to continue the growth in a sustainable way. So I will not take you that long, but thank you very much, and let's model shift together. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I only want to say something about the connecting between ports on the one hand, short sea shipping, but also inland waterways and rail. And I think the sustainable modes, they are our future. I think trucks trucks are existing. But if we can reduce the count, then I think we a very good step forward. And perhaps later we have just other kind of transport systems which are working. What I do, and also Pavel, we all coordinators are working on studies today for the corridors, or in my horizontal, for all ports in Europe. I think we have in the core and the comprehensive 335 ports, which is a huge sum. And if we can realize that what is a goal in the sustainable and smart mobility strategy, to increase the short sea shipping in Europe 25% by 2030 and 50% by 2050. That is a huge task which we have to face. But I'm optimistic that we can do it. And we had just also in this train, in the last days I was here, and we had a lot of round tables, and we were discussing always with people are in the practice, and they show what can we do. And I will only give one example. If you have 12 moves for a container inside a port before it's on the train, then it will just land on the truck. That is a reality. So we have also to realize quick wins in the operation, and we have also organized our infrastructure that we have rail tracks in the ports that we can just only perhaps with 2 moves or 4 or maximum 4 moves. Then I think we have just also a cost structure which will work for the rail freight, and that is what we have also to have in mind for the future. And now we are discussing about the studies for the corridors and just for the horizontal task. And in the next year, we will speak about new working plans. The member states are invited. We have very good negotiations in the past, which was coming together. And I know that the TEN-T regulation, the new TEN-T regulation, give for sustainable transport modes better chances. And that is where we also need the support of the member states, in the council, in the parliament. We are just lobbying for this. And what are coordinators? Coordinators are mediator to bring the best praxis to the reality, and that is what we want to do. Thank you very much for joining us and to be here. And it was okay. That is Siamak Jalali, my advisor, and a good advisor shows if I have forgotten or something. So there is also the opportunity to take questions to the speakers. If there are questions, then you have now the chance to ask. If not, I look forward. Yes, yes.
I think we shouldn't forget that modal shift doesn't only need investment. Very important. Thanks for the. It is also a social level playing field, and it's hard to get more train when truck drivers from third countries are so badly paid. I think it's part of the question. We have to have investment, we have to have better regulation, we have to invest in the future technology, but we have to have also a social playing field and an environmental playing field. But I want to focus on the social playing field, and the Commission have also a role to play in it.
Just not only lower paid, but also not speaking 3 languages. Like the locomotive drivers have to speak a couple of languages going across, otherwise they cannot go through the country. So those hurdles and obstacles, of course, is one thing which is facing the rail industry. And of course, the second is pricing and level playing field. But I just as last word I would like to say from my side and from I think the all coordinators and former minister of infrastructure, and most of us are former ministers, former deputy, even prime ministers, and among the coordinators. So we have a college of coordinators. Beside the fact that we draft the working plans with the help of advisors who collect the data for all the ministries, we're also people who know the politics. Okay, so if anything, your minister yourself you think that we can do to push together good ideas for and looking for a coalition of the willing behind certain projects, we are there for you. Okay, so this is our message from all behalf of our coordinators who are not here, just me and Kurt and myself, and I give it back to Kurt.
Yes, thank you very much. Are there other statements or some opinions? Which is, no, I only want to give the same chance to all of us. Yes, thank you very much. I think we can use the minutes until we arrive in Brussels also for bilateral discussion on the table. You are invited for this, and for me it's a pleasure that we had this opportunity to speak just in short theses, to speak about the important parts of what we have to face for the near future. And I wish the minister and the deputy prime minister of the government, I wish you a good success, because your success is always our success, and therefore good negotiations, and we hope all the best for you. And I wish all of you that we can work together, like in this movie, in this short movie, together for the same sustainable approach for a modern mobility strategy in the future. I think the documents of the EU from the Commission, the strategy, as well as the Green Deal, which is a part of the trilogue, and it's very important. So we have gave us very hard tasks, and now we have also to work very hard to fulfill them. And in this sense, thank you very much for traveling with us in this Connecting Europe Express. And I only will underline Express, not the last train. It has to be the first train. And therefore, just welcome on this train. And I think we have a lot of opportunities to speak together, and just also to underline that we are on the same sense. Thank you very much for this, and I close this official part of the meeting.